Well, here we are with Sean Eyre, who is one of my producers. He recorded 6 of the songs that are on my album, and he has been involved in the music industry for how long now, Sean?
Full-time, 6 years. I started in the mid-'80s just doing production of my own material, and then finally got to the place where I could do it for a living and work with independent artists producing, and still working on my own
You've
stuff.
been working with a lot of musicians, right? Like helping them make their CD, their first CD.
Yep.
And what's the percentage? Like, is somebody famous yet? Has anyone made it, quote unquote?
Probably the highest profile would be Laura Doyle.
Okay.
We co-wrote 2 songs that were nominated for Genies last year.
Oh, wow.
Got a few nominations for her album from the West Coast Music Awards. And she probably has the highest profile of anybody I've worked with yet.
So, and what's the percentage in terms of like how many other artists have you worked with altogether?
I've worked with probably half a dozen doing full albums, and then probably 2 dozen, doing songs here and there over the course of the last 6 years.
So in your opinion, what does it take?
Determination more than anything, I think.
What about the music itself?
Well, that's kind of obvious, but there's thousands of people that are talented enough to have record deals and to be doing it. There's only a very small percentage of those people that will actually do it, and that has to do with other things other than talent.
So besides Laura Doyle, who are some of the artists that you see perhaps sort of making it or heading in that direction?
Well, you have some radio play now yourself.
Yes, I do.
That's a good start. Eric Norgard's CD I'm really excited about. Have my own project, Emissary.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Emissary is a mix of world music, and it just crosses a lot of musical boundaries, religious boundaries, and cultural boundaries, I think.
And this is your own personal project?
Something I've had on the works for years.
Where is your studio?
It's right in this house in the basement suite. I have 2 rooms that I set up. One's basically a bedroom that we do the vocal and get some little isolation from the computer noise and what have you. It's a quite quiet neighborhood, and everybody that works there loves the vibe.
The Zone. The studio is called The Zone?
The Zone.
So what about the quality of the recordings that come out of a home studio versus an actual studio?
Actually, my signal path is better than most studios because I'm not going through 50 feet of cable and 10 or more connections, and I have the same caliber microphone and preamp as I get. So the actual recording I get of, say, an acoustic guitar and a voice are very high quality. Yeah, there's a lot of drawbacks to actually some major studios, and it takes longer, and it's not as immediate and not as natural and comfortable.
So you have a publishing deal with Nettwerk Records, right?
Yep.
What does that mean?
I think it's a good relationship to build, and I haven't really done anything with them yet, but it's like I say, I'm nurturing that relationship, and the fact that they signed me to a publishing deal, I think it just reflects to me that I'm doing something worthwhile, and we'll see what comes of it. Whether I get to write with other people or.
Sean, I gave you 6 copies of my CD. How long ago was that? I think when it was just done sometime in the summer.
Yep.
Have you done that yet? In hopes that you can ask why?
I haven't seen Mark.
Okay.
I haven't seen Mark. I have a bunch of CDs that I'm going to bring him when I have my next meeting with him.
And when's that going to be?
Probably in about 2 months.
So in addition to bringing my record, how many other projects are you bringing at the same time?
I'm going to bring him Chantel's.
And that's another artist that you're working with?
Yeah,
okay.
I just finished mixing her album. and a bit of Eric's stuff, I think, at that time, as well as some Emissary demos.
And what do you think the chances are of anything coming of that for any of the artists?
Last I heard, Nettwerk is looking more towards roots, folk, acoustic stuff as far as what they're signing, because of there's a whole they were very much involved with electronic music, but because that's being downloaded and there's so much of it on the internet, that's not there's not a lot of electronic music acts being signed.
What was it like working with myself?
I found you really organized, quick. It was a really easy project. It was a really easy project to work on. I like the minimal approach that we did with stuff, just to give it, really fresh and raw.
So the 2 songs that they're playing on Clear are both songs that I produced with you.
Mm-hmm. And then also the 2 most minimal ones that we did.
Yes, that's true.
Got that immediate energy, I think, on both those songs. Pop kind of production.
Cool. So who's responsible for my success?
You.
Just me?
Yeah.
What about you?
Ultimately.
Ultimately me?
Yes, I think so.
So if I'm putting in 100% for my record,
yeah,
how much are you putting in? Just a project that you've been part of. Or you're primarily sort of pretty much done with it at the point that the record is done?
Yeah, I don't get into any other thing usually other than producing.
Okay.
Producing.
So that's it,
I don't do
producing
with
the record.
Management, promotion. I'll pass it on to people I know, and people I already have contacts. But I'm not interested in getting into the management and promotion and publicity and that.
So what you're saying is that
end of it, because there's people that do that.
Yes. So you help me make beautiful music.
Yeah.
And then I'm out the door on my own.
Yeah.
And I gotta make it happen,
yeah.
right? So there's not much help coming from you in
Other
terms
than
of promotion.
Pass the actual production of the music.
So it's kind of like when you have kids and you work with them and then you kick them out of the house and they have to do it on their own.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I get.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. Well, thanks, Sean.
Yeah.